Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. I just wanted to go over like a little driver review now that I've had this car for a while and been doing some practice laps at the Tampa track and a couple other locations. I've had this a little over a year now. You can go back and see on the channel I have an unboxing video on it, and I also have a driving video, but I had just gotten the car and just got back into the hobby as well, so the driving skills are not top notch, and I've said it many times before that I am definitely not any pro driver or anything like that. Just do it for fun. A lot of club races and stuff like that. We just did a club race for our first club race right before Christmas. That was fun. With this car, and this is completely stock. I've done nothing to it. Everything is stock. I've made a couple changes here and there, but I've qualified in the first main I finished 4th. My second main I finished 3rd. And then not my mains, my heat races, I finished 4th and 3rd. And then in the main, I ended up qualifying 7th and finishing 7th. So I didn't do any better than I qualified, but I didn't do any worse than I qualified either. So not a bad day. That was out of 13 or 14 drivers as well. So not a bad day at all for my first race. We're going this weekend as well. We're going to another place and racing. I have no time on that track whatsoever, so this should be interesting. And then we're also going to go back to Lake Park in Tampa on the 22nd, it looks like, maybe, and do another club race there. But I just kind of wanted to talk about this particular car. This is ready to run, out of the box, race ready, and it is a phenomenal vehicle. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen the quality and the way this thing handles out of the box for an RTR. Serpent nailed this out of the park. Now, what I did do is I did change the radio system to my older Spectrum. What is that? The DX3C, the older DX3C. So I have been using that instead of the stock system. Just because I'm never really a big fan of the out-of-the-box RTR handsets. They just don't have the adjustability as some of the aftermarket ones do. But other than that, it's stock motor, stock ESC. This is Dragon ESC. From Serpent's manual, they do make a card for that ESC that you can program that card, some of the basic stuff. It's not an in-depth thing like a Tekin or anything. I put the equalizer tires on there. They're C2, so they're soft. For me, I feel that this was the best tire for the track we were running, because when it was wet, it handled really good, and when it was dry, it handled better than any of the other tires that I've tried. I've tried a couple of different compounds. I've tried a couple different styles, whole shots and all that, and for my driving style, these seem to do the best for me. I also changed, I don't know if anybody remembers watching the other video, the battery strap went this way, long-wise. Well, I was having an issue with the battery strap here hitting this gear, and as you can see, this is the strap. It got chewed up from doing that. So what I did was I took this all apart, and I drilled slots in these brackets here, and I drilled slots in the wall for the battery, and I bought 2 more straps, and then I cut them so they're still a little long, but I tuck them in here. And what I did with the body as well is I got some Velcro, and I don't use body clips anymore. Best thing I ever did, and the worst thing I ever did, because what will happen is it's great, body won't come off, you don't have to worry about losing pins and all that. That's what's great. Keeps the car super clean. as you can see that this is all dirty, but this is like pretty much immaculate. I haven't even blown this out after 2 or 3 races, so you can see how it keeps the car clean. But the biggest issue with doing that is when somebody on the track is trying to get under your body because your switch turned off. I had that happen. They're having a hard time getting this off and getting under it, but it's like a love-hate relationship. I definitely like being able to just throw the body on, not worrying about clips, and then going on the track. I can pick the car up from the body with this Velcro system, so it's very strong. The other thing, let's see. The other thing I did was I took the shocks out, the rear shocks. This had just happened. I just did this the other day, and I put new fluid in there. I went to a 30. I don't know what comes standard, but when you would press down on the back of the buggy, it would just sit and stay like right there. So when all the weight was being transferred in the race, the back end's really squirrely. It wasn't setting up for jumps right. I couldn't jump and triple some things. So I'm hoping that may have taken care of that problem. We'll see. I adjusted the ride height a little bit. It was sitting really lower. So we'll see. That's all, again, also opinion things with different people. Some people like the car really low, but our track is really rough. So sitting really low I don't think would be a good thing. Maybe on a really, really nice, well-maintained blue groove track, I could see you wanting the lowest. But so I'm going to try that and see how that works. I also, like I said, I went to that, but I am going to switch to this system here. Now, Brian O, he's got the new Buggy, the new associated kit, and he's running the 3PV. And I tried it, and I absolutely love the FHSS system on the Futaba stuff. I just driving that car, you feel the car through your hands. I can't explain it. It's different. It's smoother. You feel connected to the car a little bit better than I did with that. So I wanted to go with the Futaba system. I went with the 4PM. It's the next model up, because this will allow connection to the Kyosho Mini Zs as well, and I have a few of them. So I can connect to them without, going and trying to put a new receiver in, because they have a built-in receiver. So that's why I went with this system. I will have a review on this, hopefully, after, a next race or a couple practices to see if, how good or maybe I made a mistake. This also comes with the telemetry and stuff with the particular radio or receiver that is in this. I'm not going to be using any of that, but after Saturday, I'm going to leave the stock system in. After Saturday, I will be going to this setup as well. I have the Reedy Sonic 866 2100 buggy motor with the 850R black box. I have been a Reedy fan since I've used their products. Also LRP. I love LRP and Reedy. I don't know what it is. Tekin is really good, and my brother and a lot of other people are running Tekin. I have heard that Tekin's ESCs the circuit boards tend to fail when a lot of chassis slap. So that is why I stayed away from Tekin on the buggy. We'll see. We'll see how it does. This is a 1900 kV motor as well. I feel like there could be a little bit more punch. It's running a 13-tooth pinion. That could be part of the problem. Most everybody's in the 15 range, but I'm not sure what the spur gear is. It does not say in the manual from Serpent what size that spur, because I think everybody else is in like the 46 range. So I don't know if maybe this is different to allow that 13, but I also ordered a bunch of different pinions. I've got 13 all the way up to 18 coming, but I do want to try the 2100 with this thing is supposed to be like a lot more programmable and stuff, and it comes with a card as well. So yeah, other than that, guys, this car is absolutely amazing. I mean, the only other thing that you're going to have to worry about if you do decide to purchase this particular model is they use Phillips head screws for some reason on these points here, these points right here, and for some reason these bolts like to loosen up, and there's a lot of play. Actually, that one's a little loose right now, so I'm gonna have to tighten that up. I always go through it, usually after a day on the track, a practicing or a race, I'll go through and tighten all that stuff up because it likes to loosen up a bit. I actually have a loose one here too in the steering, so I have to go through and tighten that up. But all in all, the car flies amazing. You come up off a jump and it just hovers like perfectly in the air, perfectly flat. And I've had a couple people drive it and they all say the same thing. They're like, wow, this thing handles amazing. It flies amazing. It takes very little effort to jump because of that. My guess is because the balance on this with the dual battery setup is just, I think it's genius. It's the only one I've seen. Well, I take that back. Associated now changed their new Buggy kit to this as well, and I think the Kyosho MP10 now also has done this. But since that, I mean, this was the only one that I noticed that had that dual battery setup, and I've always felt that the brick on one side of the car, there's just, those batteries are super heavy, and there's no way those batteries weigh, you know, the same amount as just the motor or the motor and ESC setup. I find it hard to believe, and I always see the cars in the air kind of doing this, and they've got to use the gas to flatten them out. So this, you don't have to do that. It flies amazing. It handles really good. For an out-of-the-box RTR, you cannot beat this car. It is a $482 to your house, and I mean, you can go out and you can race. That's what's great. I even had the owner of our Hobbytown, he sells these, and he's like, I've never actually driven one. He's like, do you mind if I take it around the track? And I said, no problem, actually. I would like your feedback on it, because he races and he's a pretty good racer. So he took it around. He said, this is absolutely amazing. He's like, I can at least now tell people that when they come in and are looking for a budget buggy, that this is definitely the #1 on the list. Now, the Kyosho MP9 ready to run, that's a good car. It has a tendency to break the knuckles because they're made out of that like aluminum, cast aluminum or whatever, and it seems to break. And the parts aren't readily available. That is a nice thing about the Serpents. They do have an American warehouse, and it takes you about a day or two straight out of Miami, and you usually get your parts. I wasn't familiar enough with Serpent, so I decided to try this kit. Again, the best driving car that I've ever driven. I've driven the Kyosho MP9. I've driven and owned the Associated RTR. That was an older vehicle. That's why I got rid of it. It was discontinued. Parts are discontinued. So I sold that. I driven the Techno. And out of all the vehicles that I've driven, car handles better than any of them, hands down. Now, I have not driven the new Associated kit. They also have the split batteries. So I'd like to try that. Brian's been tinkering with that. It hasn't been running quite right. I think he's finally got it tuned in right. So hopefully I'll get to try that and see how that compares to this. But if you're looking to get into it, budget friendly, and want a podium, this is definitely the car to get. And hands down, I don't see any other way around it. This is definitely the best car, the best bang for your buck. It has definitely changed me over to Serpent. I'm probably going to get a Truggy. I'm going to get an on-road car, all Serpent. They've converted me. I've been an Associated fan for a very long time, liked all their products, never really had a problem with them, but I can definitely say this thing is a tank. It's been through a lot, and I have not broken much. So that's a good thing. But yeah, guys, hopefully I can get you some more content. I'd like to get some track footage. I know I've been slacking last year. I keep saying that I'm going to have more content, and it just, things happen and life gets in the way. But hopefully 2023 for the channel will be a little bit more. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave it below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And we'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks.